Can we make the volume little higher?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That's one.
I'll just open this. Just open the window here.
Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Acharya Varya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Shri Prabhupada Ki Grantharaj Shri Sri Bhaktirasamritasindhu Ki The Nectar of Devotion Class Ki Yuga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol Hari Hari Bol. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Madhyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagara Bhunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Saganadavita Shri Vishakhamritamshta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva ca Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. At the very onset of present day's discourse, I would like to initially offer my most respectfully prostrated obeisances unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Sri Radha and Govinda Devaji, along with their eternal transcendental companions and associates, such as Sri Lalita Devi, Sri Vishakha Devi, Sri Rupati Manjari, etc. And along with them, I would also like to submit my most respectfully prostrated, submissive homages unto the lotus feet of their divine lordships, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, along with their perpetual divine entourage, consisting of Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, and all the 6 Goswamis of Sri Dham Vrindavan. Finally, I would also like to pay my obeisances and due honorary respects unto the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who has been a supramundane adept in the art of dispersing Krishna consciousness, who has distributed the devotional service unto Lord Shri Krishna, imbued with pure devotional transcendental sentiments throughout this world in this present modern era in most unique and fantastic unprecedented way. Conclusively, I would also like to pay my obeisances and due honorary respects unto the lotus feet of the initiating spiritual master, along with all the preceptorial spiritual masters, as well as the senior Vaishnava devotees of the Lord present herein. And thereafter, now let us commence our discussion in the context of Sri Bhaktirasamritasindhu, alias the Nectar of Devotion, compiled by Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. As the founder Acharya of our institution, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, alias ISKCON, who is His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, puts it in his prelude to the Nectar of Instruction, alias Sri Upadeshamritam, compiled by Sri Rupa Goswami, that the Srila Rupa Goswami is actually the direct in charge of the Krishna consciousness movement. These are the exact, precise words that have been used by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in his introduction, in his foreword, or in his prelude to the Nectar of Instruction, also known as Sri Upadeshamritam of Srila Rupa Goswami. Therein, Srila Prabhupada glorifies Rupa Goswami by addressing him as the actual in charge of the Krishna consciousness movement. So we can understand the factual, exalted position of Srila Rupa Goswami, and also it has been explained in regards to the treatise, in regards to the unprecedented treatise composed by Srila Rupa Goswami. It has been explained and it has been commented by Srila Prabhupada in the prelude to the Nectar of Devotion, also known as Bhakti-rasas-Sindhu, that this Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti-rasas-Sindhu, is actually the law book of Krishna consciousness movement. Law book means it is the Nectar of Devotion, and the principles established thereupon in the Nectar of Devotion are to be considered the bylaws, the constitutional bylaws of devotional service or Bhakti Yoga. Because the textbook of Bhakti Yoga, the textbook of devotional service, the treatise explaining and elucidating and thereby delineating the subtle aspects and intricacies of devotional service is Bhakti-rasas-Sindhu, or the literal meaning is the ocean of the nectarian juicy mellows of devotional service. So in this Bhakti-rasas-Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami initially offers his obeisances unto Lord Shri Krishna and glorifies the personality of Godhead by saying, in the very invocatory verse, the Mangalacharana Shloka, he says, Adhikari Rasamrita Murtihi Prasrimara Ruchiruddhatara Kapalihi Kalitashyama Lalito Radha Prayan Vidhurjayati. Let there be all glory or all victory to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Absolute Truth, Shri Krishna, who is endowed with all excellence and who is omnipotent, and who is the very personification, who is the very embodiment of the transcendental bliss, of the paramount condensed bliss characterized by the 12 forms of rasas or juicy mellows of transcendence. And as we know that the 12 mellows which are present in Sri Krishna's personality. Why? Because Sri Krishna's personality is that he is Rasa Swarupa Parabrahma. Parabrahma means absolute truth or the personality of Godhead, and Sri Krishna is himself Rasa Swarupa. Therefore, in the Taittiriya Upanishad of Yajurveda, it has been declared Raso Vaisaha Rasam Hyevayam Labdva Nandi Bhavati. It has been said that that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Absolute Truth, Parabrahma, is itself Rasa. Rasa means transcendental, juicy, mellow. And Rasam Hi Eva Ayam Labdva Anandi Bhavati. And the living entities who are the fragmental portions of that Godhead, those infinitesimal living entities, they can experience that transcendental bliss only by obtaining that absolute truth who is rasa personified through the medium of devotional service. So rasam hi eva rasam labdva labdva anandi bhavati. Only by attaining that rasa swarupa parabrahma, only by obtaining that absolute truth who is none other than the transcendental bliss personified, can living entity factually become perpetually situated in the transcendental bliss, which is completely supramundane and non-phenomenal in its nature, which is not temporal, which is eternally, everlastingly existing, and which is incessant, completely uninterrupted, and which is not tainted by the three modes of material nature. That type of bliss can only be attained through the medium of devotional service by obtaining that personality of Godhead's direct audience, and thereby relishing the sweetness which is found within the personality of that Godhead, known as Krishna Madhurya Aswadan. So, now Rupa Goswami describes Krishna. Krishna is a transcendental moon who is the very personification of all the 12 types of transcendental rasas. And these 12 forms of transcendental rasa are rather products of Vishuddha Sattva, or the mode of pure goodness, which is completely above, beyond and transcendental to the three modes of material nature, namely mixed mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, sattva, rajatam, etc. So devotional service also appears in these 12 aspects. Sri Krishna is actually the personification of these 12 rasas. What are these 12 rasas? So it has been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam also by Sri Shukadeva Goswami. How can we perceive Sri Krishna to be the embodiment of 12 rasas? Actually, according to Rupa Goswami, Sri Krishna appears both as the rasa personified and both as rasika personified. Sri Krishna appears in two diversities. His transcendental existence is perceived in two diversities. First, as the transcendental mellows personified, rasa personified, and the second as the supreme relisher, the expert relisher of those transcendental mellows, that is rasika personified. Rasa personified and rasika personified. That is why Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami purposefully uses the word Rasik Shekhar to denote Sri Krishna. That's why Krishnadas Kaviraj says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Rasika Shekhar Krishna Parama Karuna. That supremely compassionate Sri Krishna is an expert relisher of transcendental mellows. Rasika Shekhar Krishna. Shekhar means he is the topmost. He is like the crown jewel in tasting, in relishing the 12 transcendental mellows of transcendence of spiritual existence. So, first let us understand what are these 12 transcendental mellows. It has been described in Sri Bhaktirasamritasindhu. Shantatasya Sakhya Vatsalya Madhurya Rasanama Krishna Bhakti-rasamadhye e pancha pradhana. Chaitanya Charitamrita also, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is
allotting his divine instructions, when he is imparting his transcendental sermons unto his pupil Rupa Goswami at the holy conjunction of the sacred three rivers, Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, Tirthraj Prayag. At that Tirthraj Prayag, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Rupa Goswami 5 centuries back regarding the subtle aspects of Krishna Bhakti, at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Rupa Goswami that within the devotional service unto the Lord Shri Krishna, within that Krishna Bhakti, there are 5 types of relationships, also known as 5-fold mellows, also known as 5 principal mellows of devotion, also known as Panchamukhya Bhakti-ras. And what are they? First is Shantaras, or the transcendental mellow in passive state of devotion. Then comes Dasyarati or Dasyaras, which is the transcendental mellow of servitude. Sakhyaras, transcendental mellow of fraternity. Vatsalyaras, transcendental mellow of parental affection. And Shringar or Madhur Ras, transcendental mellow of conjugal love for the Lord. These are the 5 types of principal relationships existing between the living entity, who is the servitor, and the served principle, who is none other than Shri Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan. And then there are 7 other types of secondary mellows, which occasionally, intermittently appear on the scene, and then again which become lost in oblivion, which only appear just in order to enhance the 5 principal types of mellows from time to time. And those 7 secondary mellows are in chronological sequential order enumerated as Hasya Adbhuta Veera Karuna Raudra Vibhatsa Bhaya Panchavida Bhakte Gauna Sapta Rasahaya. In those devotees who are serving Shri Krishna in one of the 5 principal relationships or mellows which have been just described, which are just above mentioned or aforementioned, in those devotees who are serving the Lord in 5-fold relationships of the aforementioned type, in those devotees' hearts there exist also these 7 types of secondary mellows. Panchavida Bhakti Gauna Saptara Sahaya. Within that devotee, also the 7 types of secondary mellows do exist. And what are they? Hasyaras means the transcendental mellow of laughter or humor. Then comes Adbhutaras, transcendental mellow of astonishment, amazement or wonder. Veerras, transcendental mellow of chivalry or heroism. Karunaras, transcendental mellow of compassion. Raudraras, transcendental mellow of supramundane anger, not the anger arising from the mundane modes of fashion and ignorance, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 3rd chapter, Kama, Esha, Krodha, Esha, Rajoguna, Samadbhavaha, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidyena, Mihavayirinam. No. We are talking about transcendental anger which arises from Vishuddha Sattva, which is a product of Vishuddha Sattva, unmixed, transcendental, unadulterated goodness. It arises from that, not from the material nature, not from the Trigunatmika Prakriti or Mahamaya. So, therefore, because it arises from Vishuddha Sattva, that's why in essence it is still full of bliss. It may seem that it is Raudraras or the mellow of anger, but still inside, as the core essence of its existence, it is full of felicity. It is felicitous. So, Raudraras, the transcendental mood of anger, is also in its essential core part blissful. Raudra Vibhatsa. Vibhatsa means the transcendental mellow of hastily. That is also, it may seem hastily, but it is full of bliss. Bhaya, Bhayanak Ras is the 7th and the last in our enumeration. So Bhayanak Ras means the transcendental mellow of fear. Although it may seem, according to the mundane apparent conception, that the mellow of fear, how can that mellow of fear be tasty? But the mellow of fear is actually nothing else but composed of the transcendental bliss. An example is given that transcendental bliss actually manifests itself into these 12 forms. How? An example is given. In Bharatavash, in the land of India, it is commonly seen as the tradition boosts this, as the tradition boosts this, gives rise to this activity of making toys. As the tradition, the long lasting tradition gives rise to the activity of making toys, different shapes, different types of toys, different sizes, different toys consisting of different lengths, breadths, heights, volume, density, etc. And those toys of different objects, etc. Those toys are which are manufactured from a single constituent or a single ingredient. One example is given that in India there is a normal custom, especially at the times of holy festival and other festivals. There is a, at least in northern India, there is a traditional custom of making different sorts of toys, like the replicas of horses, like the replicas of elephants, like the replicas of other beasts, aquatics and animals, from a single constituent source, which is sugar, the particles and molecules of sugar. So those particles and molecules of sugar which are used, which are utilized to make these different toys, which are in the shape of horses, lions, cows, etc. But those the constituent ingredient, the source is the same. Although it may turn into different shapes, the source is the same. Therefore, even that toy elephant which is used to appease the child, the parents, in order to appease their child, in order to satisfy their child, they use these toys. But these toys are none other than different transformations of the same sugar substance, which acts as a constituent ingredient, which acts as ingredient cause of those toys found of different shapes and of different types. So in the same way, the same transcendental paramount bliss, which is completely beyond the three modes of material nature and which arises from the internal potency of the Lord, internal potency of a very special type and flavor, rather known as Ahladini Shakti, or the pleasure-giving potency of the Lord. That pleasure-giving potency of the Lord, also known as Ahladini Shakti, gives rise to 12 different types of juicy, palatable and relishable, tasty mellows of transcendence. So this Bhayanak Ras is nothing other than the paramount condensed bliss Ahladini Shakti. Just like that horse, toy of horse which is made up of sugar particles is not actually horse. That toy of horse, although it may resemble a horse, although it may resemble a horse, or although it may, by looking at that toy horse, or by visualizing or envisioning that toy horse, a child may feel that, I have actually acquired a real horse. But that horse is actually nothing but the sugar particles. In the same way, all these 12 different types of mellows or relationships, including the mellow of tastelessness, vibhatsaras, including the mellow of bhayanak ras, or the mellow of fear, including the mellow of anger, raudra ras, they are nothing but different transformations of the same transcendental paramount bliss. That's why bhayanak ras is not the same as that mundane prakrita bhai, that mundane material fear, which is rather found in this material world and which is rather cause of all sorts of mental and physical distresses. No, all these transcendental mellows are completely beyond the mundane fear, lamentation, anger, and all these other faults of material existence. Rather, they are transformations of pure condensed paramount bliss Ahladini Shakti. So, Sri Krishna appears as the personification of all these 12 rasas. What do we mean by that? What we mean, what Rupa Goswami means, is what we mean. Because, just like for the materialists, it has been said, this is the single sole motto, or this is the usual habit of the materialists. That the materialists, they are prone to chew what they have already chewed in their many past lives. Punaha charvita charvananam, as it has been explained in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam by Prahlad Maharaj. In the same way, the same rule also applies in transcendence. In transcendence also, on the path of devotional service also, we have to chew what has been already chewed, what has been left off as remnants by our predecessor acharyas, by our predecessor spiritual masters. So, our spiritual master, Sri Rupa Goswami, our original spiritual master of our line, Adi Bhakti-ras Prasthapanacharya, Sri Rupa Goswami has stated in the invocatory verse of Bhakti-Rasamritasindhu that Akhila Rasamrita Murtihi, Krishna is embodiment of one rasa? No. Two rasas? No. He is embodiment of 12 rasas in total, because rasas are only 12 in number. Therefore, Sri Krishna is the personification, the very embodiment of these 12 rasas. But these 12 rasas, he is the embodiment of partial. These 12 rasas that he is embodiment of, these 12 rasas are existing in him in partial amount or in full amount. In order to clarify this suspicion, in order to clarify this doubt, Rupa Goswami uses the word Akhil. Akhil means Shri Krishna is the personification of all the 12 transcendental mellows simultaneously and in their totality, not in partial amount. So Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Now, Murti means personal shape, personal figure or a personal icon having a specific complexion, specific nomenclature assigned to him, specific demeanor, specific attributes, specific color, size, shape, etc. That particular object which has a form, shape, etc. is known as Murti or is known as a figure. So Murti means figure. Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Akhila Rasamritasya Murti iti Akhila Rasamrita Murti. This is a compound word. This is a samas. Akhila Rasamritasya Akhila Rasamritanam Murti iti Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Shri Krishna is the personification, is the personified figure, is the personified figure of all the 12 transcendental mellows in their totality. Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That is why he is known as Rasa Swarupa. He is Rasa himself, and that is why the Taittiriya Upanishad says Raso Vaisaha, that supreme absolute truth, that Parabrahma is actually Rasa Swarupa. He is nothing else than the transcendental 12 types of mellows. So when Shri Krishna appears as Rasa Swarupa, at that time his feature of being palatable is disclosed. His feature of being aswadya is being disclosed. And when Shri Krishna appears as Rasika Shekhar, or as the taster, or as the relisher of all the 12 transcendental mellows, then his feature of Aswadak is revealed. Shri Krishna appears in two different aspects, as Aswadya and as Aswadak. Actually, the Rasa Tattva appears in two different aspects, Aswadya Tattva and Aswadak Tattva. Shri Krishna himself is the 12 transcendental mellows. He is not possessing 12 transcendental mellows. No. Rupa Goswami, when he says Akhila Rasamrita Murti, it doesn't mean that Shri Krishna is possessing 12 transcendental mellows. No. Shri Krishna is not possessing 12 transcendental mellows in his custody, but rather Shri Krishna is himself the 12 transcendental mellows. There is a very essential difference. In the material world, different living entities, first of all, they are not possessing the transcendental mellows if they are not serving the Lord. If they are averse to the Lord, they are not possessing the transcendental mellows. They are possessing the mundane, perverted reflections of those 12 transcendental mellows, and those mellows also in partial amount, not in full amount. And those mellows they are possessing, they are not themselves those perverted mellows. These are the differences. Shri Krishna is, first of all, he is not possessing anything. He himself is the transcendental mellow. So, just like one example is given, that there is one example given, that if we say that this person is Dhanavan, the word Dhanavan is used in Sanskrit language in order to indicate a person who is of very aristocratic type and very rich and very opulent, possessing lot of financial assets and financially prosperous. So, a financially prosperous person is sometimes called Dhanavan. Dhanavan means who is endowed, who is possessing, or who is associated with the riches, with the opulences. But then, those riches with whom he is associated with, those riches are different in existence from his existence. You cannot say that the rich man's existence is the same as the existence of the opulence that he possesses. The existence of the opulence he possesses is different from the existence of the rich man. There is a possessed and possessor relationship between the riches and the rich. But that doesn't mean that the existence of both is one and the same. So, if we say that Shri Krishna is possessing these opulences, then Rupa Goswami Sri Krishna is possessing these 12 transcendental mellows in his personality, then Rupa Goswami wouldn't have said Akhila Rasamrita Murti. He would have said that Sri Krishna is a Rasavan or Rasa Yukta. He is possessing the rasas or he is endowed with the rasas. But rather, Akhila Rasamrita Murti has been used, which is defined as that Sri Krishna himself is the personal figure of these 12 transcendental mellows, and therefore the Upanishad says Raso Vaisaha, Sri Krishna himself is the transcendental ras, not that he is possessing these transcendental rasas. So, Sri Krishna, when he possesses these 12 transcendental rasas, then he is to be relished. Then the sweetness of his personality, which is possessing these 12 rasas, is to be relished by his devotees, and therefore Sri Krishna as Rasa Swarupa, as being the rasa personified, comes to be known as Aswadya, or that one who is relished by his devotees. But when Sri Krishna appears as Rasik Shekhar simultaneously, although he is himself these 12 rasas, but still he wants to taste these 12 rasas. How unique is that? How unique is that? In the mundane world, can sugar ever want to taste itself? That is not possible. Sugar cannot want to taste its own self. Sugar cannot have the desire of tasting its own self. But Shri Krishna has the desire to taste his own self. Shri Krishna is the 12 rasas personified, but still he wants to taste those 12 rasas which he himself is personified. Why? Because in the material world, those items whose example we give, like sugar, etc., those items which are very palatable, they are not conscious items. That's why they cannot have the desire of relishing their own existence. But Shri Krishna has a desire of relishing its own existence. So, although Shri Krishna is rasa personified, he still has a desire of relishing those 12 rasas. And when he becomes Rasik Shekhar, or the relisher of those 12 rasas, then he becomes known as Aswadak. And then he tastes the 12 transcendental mellows which are present within the heart of his devotees. Then he becomes the enjoyer of his devotees when he turns as Rasik Shekhara, as the taster of mellows. But when Shri Krishna himself is personified 12 mellows, then the devotees enjoy the sweetness found within the personality of Godhead. But when Shri Krishna is the relisher of the mellows, then he becomes the enjoyer of the sweetness found within the heart of his devotees. That's why the one and the same Rasa Tattva appears in twofold diversities simultaneously, as Aswadya and as Aswadak, as Rasik Shekhar and as Rasa Swarup. In these two diversities, why? The question arises, how can one who is himself 12 rasa be ever wanting to taste those 12 rasas? Since those 12 rasas he himself is, how can he want to taste his own self? The answer is given that Shri Krishna possesses inconceivable potency. Because he is absolute truth, he possesses inconceivable potencies, and one of his inconceivable potencies is known as Virod Bhanjika Shakti. And Virod Bhanjika Shakti means that that inconceivable potency which is present within Lord's personality harmonizes and reconciles all different types of opposite functions simultaneously. Now, ordinarily, if you are 12 rasas personified, how will you want to taste your own self? That is not possible, because a person wants to taste or enjoy that particular item which is not found within his personality. But person will never want to enjoy that item which is integrated part of his personality. In this material world also you can see whatever we want to enjoy is something extraneous, something outside our personality. So according to the common logic, how is it possible that Shri Krishna, if the 12 rasas are integrated part of his personality and inner nature, how can he be wanting to taste the integrated part of his own nature? The answer is given. Virod Bhanjika Shakti is a special potency of the Lord which creates opposite functions within Lord's personality and simultaneously harmonizes those opposite functions. The example of Virod Bhanjika Shakti can be seen at the time of Mrittika Bhakshana Leela, when Lord Krishna has eaten clay or mud on the banks of Yamuna, Brahmand Ghat in Gokul Mahavan. When Lord Krishna has ate clay, at that time, chunk of clay, at that time Mother Yashoda has chastised him. Then Krishna, in his manifesting his pastime, he has opened his mouth. The baby Krishna, the lad, he has opened his mouth, and within the mouth, Yashoda sees that earth is present. Within the earth, Gokul Mahavan is present. Within Gokul Mahavan, Shri Krishna is present and she also is present. And she is looking at Krishna. She is the original Yashoda. She is visualizing this scenario within the mouth of baby Krishna, that she and Krishna both are present, and then she is looking at Krishna's mouth, and that Krishna's mouth again has the same universal picture, and then she again sees that within the mouth of that second Krishna there is another Gokul Mahavan, and then there is another Yashoda sitting there, again looking at Krishna's mouth, and then it goes on and on. This is known as the example of Virodha Panchika Shakti, which harmonizes simultaneous opposite functions, which cannot be harmonized and which cannot be conceived of in this mundane world. But the Lord possesses that inconceivable potency. That's why He can harmonize. That's why even though the 12 rasas are integrated parts, Viruddha Dharmashraya, Lord is the shelter of all the opposite functions, Viruddha Dharmashraya. That's the speciality of God. The Christians say that God is great. But does anyone, except for the followers of Vedic Dharma, have an idea of what we mean by what God is great? God is great means He is not only great, He can become the subtle of the subtlest, He can become minute of the minutest, He can become smaller of the smallest. Okay? If He can only remain great and big and large, and if He doesn't have the power to turn small, then He cannot be considered God. Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan. That's why Upanishad says that God is greatest and also smallest at the same time. And that's why all the different types of contradictory functions have to be present simultaneously. Only then He can be considered God, otherwise else not. If He is impersonal, He has to be personal simultaneously. If He is Nirakar, He has to be Sakar. As impersonal, He expands His Brahman effulgence from His transcendental body, and as personal form, He Himself is playing on a flute, staying in His medium-sized icon of Shyam Sundar Govindadev of Vrindavan. So all the different contradictions are actually harmonized within the personality of Godhead. That's why even though these 12 rasas are part of Shri Krishna's personality, still Shri Krishna hankers and becomes thirsty to taste these 12 mellows which He Himself is. That is known as Viruddha Dharmashrayitva, Lord being the shelter of all opposite functions and of all opposite propensities and faculties. So now the question arises that how to understand that Shri Krishna's transcendental figure as we behold Him, as we behold Shri Krishna's transcendental figure or deity, how to consider that Shri Krishna's transcendental deity being the personified form of all the 12 mellows. Practical example has been illustrated, has been vividly depicted by Srila Shukadeva Goswami in the 17th verse of the 43rd chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. When Kansa has sent Akrura to summon Krishna and Balram to participate in the wrestling match of the wrestling arena of Mathura. At that time, Krishna and Balram have come upon the invitation of Kansa, and they have delivered Kubja, and they have killed the Kolyapid elephant. They have also broken the Yajna Dhanush, the sacred bow of sacrifice, and after also killing that washerman and giving liberation to him, then they have gradually entered into the wrestling arena of Kansa, wherein all the different participants who were present there to see the match were also present, and wherein all the other demons, especially the 8 wrestlers like Chanur, Mushtika, Shalla, Toshal, etc. were also present and were ready to challenge the Lord. So at that time, when Krishna and Balram have entered into the wrestling match, Krishna and Balram are holding one tusk of the kolya. Each one of them is holding one tusk of Kolyapid elephant's body on their shoulders. So Balram is, because after they killed Kolyapid elephant, they uprooted the 2 tusks. Balram took one tusk and put it on his shoulder, and Krishna took another tusk and put it on his shoulder. And now, holding those tusks they are entering into the Kansa's wrestling arena, the Rang Bhumi of Mathura. So that scenario has been depicted by Shukdev Goswami in following words. Mallanam Shanir Nrinam Naravaro Strinam Swaro Murtiman Gopanam Svajano Asatam Kshiti Bhujam Shasta Swapetroho Shishuho Mrityur Bhojapater Virada Vidusham Tattvam Param Yoginam Vrishninam Paradevate Vidito Rangam Gataha Sagrajaha, along with his elder brother Sagrajaha Agrajena Sahitaha. Agrajena, along with his elder brother Shri Krishna, enters now into the historical wrestling arena of Mathura. And when Shri Krishna enters into the historical wrestling arena of Mathura, he is perceived, he is envisioned, he is seen, he appears in 12 different forms, assuming 12 different personalities in front of 12 different types of participants who were gathered there, who were assembled there to behold the events and the occurrences which were going to come. So, in front of those 12 participants, 12 different types of participants possessing 12 different types of mentalities, Shri Krishna, the one and the same Shri Krishna, appears in 12 different forms. It is not that the participants have seen Shri Krishna in these 12 different forms due to being deluded in their minds. Sometimes when people are either too much lusty or too much angry or either too much fearful, etc., they perceive particular object not in its reality but as something else. But this is not the case, because it has been said by Shukdev Goswami that Shri Krishna himself has become transformed into 12 different forms. It is not that due to some type of a fantasy, the 12 different types of participants have, due to being deluded by illusion, they have seen Shri Krishna in 12 different forms. No. Shri Krishna has actually appeared in 12 different forms, in each form being the personified form of each transcendental mellow. Because there are 12 transcendental mellows, Shri Krishna appeared in 12 different forms, each form being the embodiment or personification of each transcendental mellow. How? Let us see the practical example. Malla Nam Ashanir Nrinam. In front of the inimical and radical minded and malicious and envious wrestlers who were completely unfavorable to the Lord and who wanted to kill Shri Krishna and Balram at the instant. In front of those wrestlers who were possessed of such inimical demoniac mentality, Shri Krishna's transcendental form has not rather been perceived as a tender form of adolescent age of 11 days and 52 years old. No. Rather, a different form of Shri Krishna has been seen by them, has been perceived by them. Those wrestlers, they have seen the same Shri Krishna as his body is as giant as a mountain. It is as giant as a mountain and as solid as a stone, and actually as solid as the thunderbolt of Lord Indra. The thunderbolt of Lord Indra, which is made up from the bones of Dadhichi Rishi. The thunderbolt of Lord Indra, which is made from the bones of Dadhichi Rishi and which possesses 100 pointy spikes or thorns. That thunderbolt of Lord Indra, that celestial divine thunderbolt of Lord Indra, the king of all demigods, which was used to kill and to destroy Vritrasur. That Shri Krishna has been seen, his bodily limbs have been seen as solid and as fearsome as the thunderbolt of Lord Indra. Rather, that Sri Krishna has not been perceived as possessing a tender form befitting an adolescent. Actually, he was adolescent at that time. He was 11 years and 52 years of age. But even though he was 11 years and 52 years of age when Kansa has and the wrestlers have seen Sri Krishna in Mathura, but his body had become exactly like a 16-year-old child. 16-year-old teenager, adolescent. So even though Sri Krishna was possessing adolescent form, the adolescent tender soft form, which is the beginning of beauty, was not seen, but rather a form which is as solid as the thunderbolt of Lord Indra was seen by the wrestlers. Mallanam Ashadir Nrinam Naravaraha. This shows that Sri Krishna appears as the personified form of Veer Ras. He is the personified form. He is himself Veer Rasa, or the transcendental mellow of chivalry and heroism personified. Then Nrinam Naravaraha. In front of the common denizens and citizens of Mathura who were assembled there, Krishna appeared as the crest jewel of all human beings. Nararatna. Nararatna means as crest jewel, as best of all human beings in all respects. As best of all human beings. That means that Sri Krishna has expressed or has shown or has exposed his personified form of the transcendental mellow of wonder. Adbhuta Ras personified. How? Because when common people of this world come to behold the crest jewel of all human beings, at that time they become amazed by seeing that great personality. So, by seeing Sri Krishna as the crest jewel of all human beings, the common citizens of Mathura have become astonished, and because the astonishment has been created by seeing, by beholding that form of Sri Krishna which appears as crest jewel, that crest jewel form of Sri Krishna who appears as crest jewel of all human beings is rather considered personified form of Adbhuta Ras, or the transcendental mellow of wonder or amazement. And then Strinam Smaro Murtiman. In front of the young unmarried girls and women of Mathura, Sri Krishna appears as the Cupid personified, Murtiman. It is not that because of their lusty desires, they have seen Sri Krishna as Cupid personified due to the overwhelming flow of lusty desires. No. Rather, Sri Krishna has himself become Cupid personified. The word Murtiman has been used. It is not an illusion. Rather, he has transformed himself as Cupid in front of the young girls and women of Mathura. Strinam Smaro Murtiman Gopanam Svajanaha. So we can see that Sri Krishna is the personified form of the transcendental mellow of conjugal love, Shringar Ras. From that, Gopanam Svajanaha, and in front of the cowherd boyfriends who had followed Sri Krishna from Vrindavan and who were of the same age as Sri Krishna, like Shridam, Subal, Madhumangal, Varuthap, Stok Krishna, Arjun, Subal, etc. All these cowherd boyfriends of Krishna, Gop Sakhas, who were of his same age and who were his friends, those in front of those cowherd boyfriends, Sri Krishna has appeared as their king and friend, Svajanaha Gopanam, which means that Sri Krishna has simultaneously exposed the personified form of the mellow of fraternity Sakhyaras and the personified form of the mellow of humor or laughter, which is known as Hasyaras. Because the relationship of fraternity exists between two friends. That is all right. But within the relationship of fraternity, the relationship of laughter and humor also exists. Between the relationship that the two friends have mutually with each other, the relationship of laughter and humor also exists. That's why Sri Krishna has simultaneously made manifest his personified form of laughter, mellow of laughter means Adbhuta Ras, and the mellow of fraternity which means Sakhyaras. Gopanam Swajanaha Asatam Kshiti Bhujam Shasta. And in front of those miscreants like Jarasandha, Shishupal, etc., who were gathered there and who were the friends of Kansa, in front of those demoniac-minded kings and miscreants who were the burden of the earth, Mother Earth, in front of those burden of earth who are none other than the miscreant kings, following the path of irreligion, in front of those miscreant kings, Asatam Kshati Bhujam, Shri Krishna appears as Shasak. Shasta means as chastiser, as ruler, as punishment giver. Which means that Shri Krishna appears as Raudra Rasa personified, as the transcendental mellow of anger personified. Because when the offender sees, when a criminal or offender sees the person who is about to chastise him, that person is full of anger. You will see that normally the punishment giver or the person who chastises, he is seen in a very angry mood towards the offender. So Shri Krishna has been seen as the Raudra Rasa personified, as the transcendental mellow of anger personified, as a chastisement or punishment giver by the miscreant demonic minded kings assembled there. Asatam Kshati Bhujam Shasta Swapitruhu Shishuhu, and in front of his father Nanda Maharaj, who had also come following Shri Krishna, in front of Nanda Maharaj and other elder gopas, other elder cowherds who had also come from Vrindavan to participate in the function of Mathura, in front of those elderly cowherd men, Shri Krishna appears rather as a child of 2 or 3 months of age, Shishu. He doesn't appear as an adolescent. His normal age at that time and his normal form was of an adolescent, but he rather was seen as a small child by all the elders, all the elderly cowherd men present there. So that means that Shri Krishna assumes, or he has exposed his form, his personified form of Vatsalyaras, the mellow of parental affection. Mrityur Bhojapatehe, and in front of Bhojapati Kans, Shri Krishna appeared rather as Yamraj personified, the personified god of death. Mrityur Bhojapatehe, Kansa didn't see Krishna as anything else but as death personified approaching him, which means that Shri Krishna exposed his form, his personified form of Bhayanak Ras, transcendental mellow fear. When Kansa saw, my death is coming, he became fearful. Mrityur Bhojapatehe Virada Vidusham, and in front of ignorant people who were assembled there, who didn't have any knowledge of the Shastras, who were very ignorant, actually the Shudra class of people who were assembled there, Shri Krishna appeared in his universal form, the same universal form, Virat Rup, which was shown to Arjun, which was also shown to Dronacharya, Vidur and Bhishma Pitamaha in Udyog Parva of Mahabharata, when Krishna goes as a messenger of Pandavas and was challenged by Duryodhana at that time, and which was shown to Mother Yashoda also. That same type of, or almost similar type of Virat Rup was shown to the ignorant people assembled there. That means that Shri Krishna showed his personified form of ghastliness, Vibhatsaras. Because by seeing the universal form, Arjun became disgusted. So the personified, the Virat Rup, universal form, produces the mellow of ghastliness. That's why Shri Krishna appeared as the personified mellow of ghastliness, Vibhatsaras, in front of the ignorant people assembled there. Tattvam Param Yoginam. And in front of those yogis, those Paramatmavadis, those transcendentalists who are following the path of Ashtanga Yoga system and who are also assembled there, in front of them, Shri Krishna appeared as the supreme absolute truth, Param Tattva. That means Shri Krishna appeared as the Shantras, transcendental mellow of passive devotion personified. Vrishninam Paradevateti. And in front of the other members of Yadu dynasty like Uddhav, Akrur, Satyaki, Kritvarma, etc., the members of Yadu dynasty, the Kshatriya clan who were assembled there, in front of the Vrishnis and Yadus, Shri Krishna appeared as their worshipable deity Lord Narayan. Because all the Yaduvanshis, all the Yadavas, they were worshipping in their houses the four-headed form of Lord Narayan as their Kuldev, as their Ishtadev, as their worshipable deity. So Shri Krishna appeared as Vrishninam Paradevateti. Shri Krishna appeared as Paradevata, as Ishtadev, as worshipable deity of the Yadus. That means Shri Krishna rather exposed his Chaturbuj Narayan form in front of Akrur, in front of Uddhav, Satyaki, Kritvarma and all the other Yaduvanshis present therein. That means Shri Krishna exposed his personified form of the transcendental mellow of servitude, Dasyaras. Because when the Vrishnis were looking at Lord Narayana's four-handed form, who was their worshipable deity, at that time they were filled with Dasya Bhav. Their hearts were filled with Dasya Bhav. So Shri Krishna appears as Dasyarati personified, exposing his form of Chaturbhuj Narayan. Vidito Rangam Gatah Sakrachaha, And thus, okay, Vatsalya Ras. When Shri Krishna appears as a small child in front of the elderly cowherd man, he not only reveals his personified form of Vatsalya or parental affection, but he also reveals his personified form of Karuna Ras or the transcendental manner of compassion. Because when a child is seen by parents, mood of compassion, mercy arises within the hearts of parents. So simultaneously, Karuna Ras and Vatsalya Ras both have been personified by Lord Krishna when he has made himself manifest as a small child in front of the elderly cowherd men assembled in the arena of Mathura. So in this way, thus, in this aforementioned way, Shri Krishna physically appears personally as the 12 different separate forms which are personifying 12 different transcendental mellows, and that is why Shri Krishna can be legally called Bhakti-Rasamritamurti, or the very personification, very embodiment of all the 12 transcendental rasas. And now we have just been able to explain the first phrase of the invocatory verse of Bhakti-Rasamritasindhu, Akhila Rasamritamurti, Prasri Mara Ruchiruddhataraka Palihi, Kalita Shyama Lalito Radha Prayan Vidurjayati. We explained the word Vidhu in our session in the temple, and now we have explained the word. We have completed our explanation on the word Akhila Rasamritamurti, and in our next session in Bhaktivedanta manner on the same topic, we will continue other parts of the invocatory verse, and also we will continue deliberation upon the definition of devotional service given by Rupa Goswami in the first chapter of Bhakti-Rasamritasindhu in our Nectar of Devotion seminar in Bhaktivedanta manner upcoming next week. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Any questions, comments, inquiries from anyone in the audience can be appreciatively taken hereby. Yes.
I want to say something. Would you kindly please explain these 12 rasas in simple form 5 times in Hindi?
These 12 rasas in Hindi.
What is standards in 5 times?
शांत रस. शांत रस में भगवान की परिचर्या अथवा वैयक्तिक सेवा करने का भाव विद्यमान नहीं रहता है भक्त के अंदर. भक्त केवल श्री कृष्ण चंद्र को परब्रह्म परमात्मा भगवान के रूप में स्मरण करके संतुष्ट हो जाता है, परंतु उन श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जो सक्रिय सेवा है वो नहीं करना चाहता. जिस प्रकार से उदाहरण प्रहलाद महाराज का दिया गया, शांत रस के भक्तों में अग्रगण्य सर्वश्रेष्ठतम आदर्श के रूप में प्रहलाद महाराज, असुर पुत्र जो प्रहलाद महाराज हैं, उनका उदाहरण दिया गया कि जिस प्रकार से प्रहलाद महाराज निरंतर भगवान विष्णु का स्मरण करते रहते थे, परंतु उन्होंने सक्रिय भाव से भगवान की कोई सेवा नहीं की है. उसी प्रकार से जो 4 कुमार हैं ब्रह्मा जी के, 4 आवाल नैष्ठिक ब्रह्मचारी पुत्र सनक सनंदन सनातन सनत कुमार, जिनको चतुर्सन भी कहा जाता है, उन 4 कुमारों के द्वारा श्री भगवान की कभी सक्रिय भाव से सेवा नहीं की गई. उनके अंदर वो भाव भी नहीं है. वो केवल भगवान का अक्षुण्ण भाव से, सतत भाव से स्मरण करके ही संतुष्ट हो जाते हैं. वो तो शांत रस का उदाहरण. शांत रस का तात्पर्य केवल भगवत स्मरण और भौतिक इच्छाओं का त्याग, भौतिक तृष्णाओं का, वासनाओं का त्याग, और भगवान श्री कृष्ण में पूर्ण निष्ठा होते हुए उनका निरंतर स्मरण करना, परंतु उनकी सक्रिय सेवा की लालसा न रखना. ये शांत रति. दास्य रति अर्थात भगवान की सक्रिय सेवा की लालसा, दास्य भाव से कि मैं भगवान का किंकर हूं. किम करोति इति किंकरः. जो किंकर, जो दास होता है, वह निरंतर यही विचार करता रहता है, वह निरंतर इसी विचारधारा में मग्न रहता है कि मैं क्या करूं, किम करोति, मैं क्या करूं भगवान की संतुष्टि के लिए, मेरे प्रभु, मेरे स्वामी, मेरे प्राणनाथ की संतुष्टि के लिए मैं क्या करूं, किस प्रकार से उनकी सेवा करूं, किस नवीन प्रकार से उनको संतुष्ट करूं, क्या करूं. हर क्षण जो है किम करोति इसी विचार में निमग्न रहता है. इसलिए उस प्रकार के दास को, दास्य भावापन्न भक्त को किंकर कहा गया है. तत्पश्चात जो वात्सल्य सख्य रति है, सख्य रस जिसको कहते हैं, उसमें जो सखा है भगवान के, वो भगवान को अपने समकक्ष स्तर पे मानते हैं कि जो कृष्ण है वह हमारे समान है. वह कोई भगवान अथवा कोई अखिल कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक वगैरह इत्यादि नहीं है. वह तो हमारे ही समकक्ष है और हमारे प्रेम के अधीन है. मित्र भाव जिसको सौहार्द का भाव कहते हैं. और तत्पश्चात वात्सल्य रस में ताड़न और भर्त्सन होता है. जो माता पिता है वो श्री कृष्ण को इस दृष्टि से देखते हैं कि श्री कृष्ण हमारे द्वारा पाल्य हैं,
हम उनके पालक हैं। अखिल कोटि ब्रह्मांड नायक जो संपूर्ण ब्रह्मांड का पालन करते हैं, उनको वो अपने आश्रित मानते हैं, अपने द्वारा पाल्य मानते हैं। हमारे बगैर श्री कृष्ण एक क्षण भी जीवित नहीं रह सकता। इस प्रकार की विचारधारा माँ यशोदा और श्री नंद महाराज के अंतःकरण में सदैव बरकरार रहती है, विद्यमान रहती है। तो पाल्य का ज्ञान है कि हम पाल्य, कृष्ण पाल्य हैं और हम उनके पालक हैं। और दूसरी बात ताड़न और भर्त्सन, जिसका तात्पर्य है कि श्री कृष्ण यदि कभी बाल्य सुलभ चपलतावश कोई कौतुक अथवा कोई चंचलता का प्रदर्शन, कोई चांचल्य का, किंचित चांचल्य का प्रदर्शन कर भी बैठते हैं, तो जो माता पिता हैं वो उनको, जो समस्त ब्रह्मांड के आदि गुरु हैं, कृष्ण वंदे जगत गुरु, उनको ताड़न भर्त्सन करते हुए उनको शिक्षा देकर उनको शिक्षित करने की, उनको समझाने की चेष्टा करते हैं। ये तो वात्सल्य रति। और तत्पश्चात श्रृंगार रति। श्रृंगार रति का तात्पर्य निष्काम भाव से केवल श्री कृष्ण के सुख में, श्री कृष्ण के सुख की वृद्धि के लिए निजांग के द्वारा, अपने अंगों के द्वारा श्री कृष्ण की सेवा करना, ये जो है श्रृंगार वृत्ति का लक्षण। और तत्पश्चात ये तो पंच मुख्य रस है, पंच मुख्य भाव कि जिनमें श्री कृष्ण की सेवा भक्त लोग करते हैं। तत्पश्चात उन पंच मुख्य भावों को अभिवृद्ध करने के लिए तथा उनमें वैचित्र्य उत्पन्न करने के लिए, जिसको हम कहते हैं मिर्च मसाला इत्यादि, वैचित्र्य उत्पन्न करने के लिए सप्त गौण रसों की आवश्यकता पड़ती है। हास्य, अद्भुत, करुण इत्यादि, वो जो सप्त गौण रस हैं वो उन्हीं पंच रसों में से कभी कभी तो प्रकट हो जाते हैं। उन पंच रसों की अभिवृद्धि करते हैं, उनमें वैचित्र्य का उत्पादन करते हैं और तत्पश्चात उन पंच भक्ति रसों में पुनः सन्निविष्ट हो जाते हैं, लीन हो जाते हैं। तो इस प्रकार से ये जो पंच मुख्य भक्ति रस हैं, इनको स्थायी भाव अथवा स्थायी रति कहा जाता है, क्योंकि ये स्थायी रूप से रहते हैं भक्त के हृदय में। जबकि जो अन्य सप्त गौण रस हैं, 7 जो गौण रस हैं, वो कभी आते हैं कभी जाते हैं, वो स्थायी नहीं है, उनको सप्त गौण कहा गया। और ये 5 को जो है स्थायी भाव अथवा स्थायी रति कहा गया। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
थोड़ा गुजराती में पढ़
गुजराती इसी का रूपांतर होगा हिंदी का, केवल क्रियाएं जो है पृथक हो जाएंगी, शब्द तो वही रहेंगे। तो ये जो आज 5 भक्तिना रसों है, मुझे लगता है सभी को समझ में तो आ गया है हिंदी में, लेकिन फिर भी गुजराती में जो है थोड़ा तो आज 5 भक्तिना रसों है ते जे भक्त 5 प्रकारना છે। ભગવાનના જે ભક્તો છે તે 5 જાતના છે અને ભગવાનના 5 જાતના ભક્તોના અંતઃકરણોમાં, તેમના હૃદયોમાં 5 જુદી જુદી જાતની ભાવનાઓ રહે છે તે ભગવાનના વિષયમાં। અમુક ભક્તો ભગવાનને પોતાના સ્વામી માનીને અને પોતાની જાતને તેમના દાસ માનીને તેમની સેવા કરવામાં સંતુષ્ટ રહે છે, તેઓને આપણે દાસ અથવા કિંકર કહીએ। પછી અમુક ભક્તો ભગવાનને પોતાના સખા માનીને સખાના ભાવમાં તે ભગવાન સાથે સંબંધ સ્થાપિત કરીને તેમની સેવા કરવા માંગે છે, તેઓને આપણે સખ્ય રસના ભક્ત કહીએ। પછી અમુક જે ભક્તો છે તેઓ વાત્સલ્ય રસમાં, વાત્સલ્ય રસને પોતાના હૃદયમાં ધારણ કરીને, વાત્સલ્ય રસની જે કોમળ ભાવનાઓ છે, જે માતૃત્વ અને પિતૃત્વનું જે સ્નેહ છે, તે સ્નેહને પોતાના હૃદયમાં ધારણ કરીને શ્રી કૃષ્ણની સર્વ પ્રકારેથી સેવા કરવા માંગે છે, તેઓ તો વાત્સલ્ય રસના ઉપાસક ભક્ત કહેવામાં આવે છે। તે રીતે તેઓ ઓળખવામાં આવે છે। અને અમુક ભક્તો શ્રી કૃષ્ણની સેવા, શ્રી કૃષ્ણનું જે આનંદ વર્ધન છે, શ્રી કૃષ્ણના આનંદ વર્ધનને પોતાના શારીરિક દાન દ્વારા કરવા માંગે છે, એટલે શારીરિક સેવા દ્વારા શ્રી કૃષ્ણની સંતુષ્ટિ કરવા માંગે છે, તેઓ શ્રૃંગાર રતિના ઉપાસક ભક્ત ગણવામાં આવે છે। પણ આ 5 જાતના જે ભક્તો છે તેઓમાં એક સાધારણ ખાસિયત એ છે કે તે 5માં ભલે 5 જુદી જાતના ભાવ છે, 5 જુદી જુદી જાતની શૈલીઓ છે, 5 જુદી જુદી જાતની રીતો છે શ્રી કૃષ્ણની સેવા કરવા માટે, પણ તેઓમાં એક સાધારણ ભાવ રહે છે, તે છે શ્રી કૃષ્ણની નિષ્કામ ભાવથી સેવા કરવી શ્રી કૃષ્ણના સુખ માટે, શ્રી કૃષ્ણના આનંદ વર્ધન માટે. એ જે નિષ્કામ ભાવ છે, જેને આપણે અન્યાભિલાષિતા શૂન્યમ જ્ઞાન કર્માદિ અનાવૃતમ આનુકૂલ્યેન કૃષ્ણાનુશીલનમ ભક્તિરોત્તમા, એ જે નિષ્કામ ભાવ છે, એ નિષ્કામ ભાવ શ્રી કૃષ્ણના સુખ અભ્યુદય માટે, એ નિષ્કામ ભાવ પાંચેય જાતના ભક્તોમાં સમાન રૂપે રહે છે. તેઓ પાંચેયની સાધારણ ખાસિયત છે. પણ પછી જે એ લોકોની વિશેષતાઓ છે, 5 જુદી જુદી જાતની રીતો છે શ્રી કૃષ્ણને સંતુષ્ટ કરવાની. તેટલા માટે તેઓના હૃદયમાં જે 5 જુદા જુદા જાતના રસો છે, એ પૃથક પૃથક રૂપે દૃષ્ટિગોચર થાય છે અથવા જોવામાં આવે છે. હરે કૃષ્ણ 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 હરે હરે, હરે રામ 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 હરે હરે. And actually, if I speak in Gujarati from the beginning, that's better than speaking in Gujarati after Hindi. Because then, it doesn't match really. So, yes.
Actually,
because my native mother tongue is Gujarati. So if I speak in Gujarati from the beginning, that's different. Actually, little different.
Gujarati is only 15, 20 years old.
Because I was still in the Hindi mode, so it becomes little difficult.
Everybody got the point. English people,
Yes.
Gujarati and Hindi, everybody got the message.
Yes,
First
yes.
program.
Okay.
We heard in 3 languages. Also, next time you speak Tamil also, Prabhu.
Well, I hope to learn it by the time I come here.
Thank you so much, and
Okay.
I appreciate Prabhu this wonderful class on the topic of Adhikari Rasamurti, how Krishna is a personification of 12 rasas. I mean the five prominent rasas, and the other 7 rasas are intricacies and they come and go. But the 5 are the main rasas to please the Lord.
Yes.
And Prabhu explained very beautifully in a very subtle way from nectar of devotion, and this topic is unended. So the more we hear, the more it relationship. We want to hear more and more. And next week, whole week is in a manner. And I request Prabhuji when he comes next time to London also. So one day we allocate for our Ilford Sangha. This Sangha is going on for more than 25 years, Prabhuji. I take her only 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I started about in devotee. And this in Ilford, in East London, this is the first exemplary Sangha. From this Sangha, we had another Sangha East Town, where Arun Prabhu is taking care of that.
Okay.
So, all South Indian community.
Very nice, expansive preaching.
Yes. So from this Sangha, we found another Sangha like this going on.
Yes.
Now this Damodar month,
Yes.
and we brought 255 new souls to Krishna consciousness. And that only 1 month, only 4 or 5 hours.
1255? Oh, 255. Okay.
255 new souls
Okay.
to Krishna consciousness.
Okay.
And we distributed at 320 books. 320 books only in this Sangha.
Very nice, very
Only we
nice.
go to different temples, all are brand new temples.
Very nice.
One of Mataji's Gita Main is sitting here. First time, second on Sangha, but with new brand new devotee. We got in the
So, so the reproduction of Sangha continues every now and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you very much on behalf of our Sangha.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I request one more time to read National Prayer.
Oh, Narsinga prayers. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
So can I announce something?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So Radha Krishna Prabhu is he is only 22.
Hari Bol. I thought it was 16.
No. 16 he started preaching, but now he is 22.
Jai.
And he is born in ISKCON, Vallabh Vidyanagar, Gujarat.
Hari Bol.
Vallabh Vidyanagar. Yeah. So we broadcast all the lecture
Live on the internet.
live on the internet.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can give your email, and then you can watch live on internet. So you can give your email.
All lectures will be posted.
We will
All the lectures.
put you in the mailing list, and then we will send out emails to you stating to which URL web address you should go and look at all the videos, watch all the videos.
And right now, Radha Krishna Prabhu, he is a student in Bhagavad Vidya Peetham, Govardhan. He is studying in Govardhan, Bhagavad Vidya Peetham. So he is a student. In Govardhan. Gopi Parandan Prabhu, he is the principal,
Ah.
so he is teaching. And his grandparents, they are Prabhupada disciples.
Nice.
Very
Very
good.
good. You see your parents.
No, maternal side.
Maternal side. Okay. Mother side.
Mother side.
Right. So this is what the devotional parampara comes. Prabhupada said, my third generation will be more powerful preaching. This is happening now, you say. Prabhupada's dreams are fulfilling. Very glad to receive Radhakrishna Prabhu here and his wonderful father.
Okay. Hare
So
Krishna.
thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, if you got 5-10 minutes time, then could we have some more kirtan? Because
Oh yes, oh yes.
kirtan what you
Yes.
are